Spring's installed. Yeah, I kind of don't like how this thing here is... Something happened to it here. I don't know what happened. This piece of the paint coming off it. This doesn't bother me that much, I guess. So it should actually be easier to install on the bike now that the spring is shorter. So let's go do it. So before you put the put these bolts back in, you should grease them up. So just got some automotive grease here. Let's make sure the bolts are nice and clean. Let's go ahead and just grease the bolts around here. Let's do it for the top and the bottom one. Okay. Put the bottom one right here. Yeah, maybe even just put some on the threads too. Okay. Because this shock, it moves a lot, you know. So you want to make sure you lube it up good. It's something good to do if you've never done it before. Okay. Just go ahead and get your shock, and then remember the reservoir faces the left side of the bike. Just go ahead and slip it in there. Trying to get it on top of the linkage down there. It's kind of hard to see, and yeah, the shaft will rotate, so just take that into consideration. Okay, there you go. It's in there. Make sure there's no wires. Uh-oh. So looks like one of these bushings came out of the linkage. So make sure these stay in there. So probably the best thing to do is to put the top bolt in first. Screw it in, but don't screw it in super tight. And then what you gotta do is you gotta pick the swing arm up until this hole lines up with this one. And then put the bolt in. So yeah, I kind of don't have a way to put the camera on, but I'll show you in a bit. All right, so I got it in there, and I'm just gonna tighten it with the drill. Make sure you don't tighten it all the way. It should be pretty loose still. And then, to get that shock on there. Okay, so to get that in the proper position, you gotta pick up the wheel, or it kind of helps to have like a jack of some sort. But the wheel's so light on this bike, it's not hard. Pick the wheel up so you can get the bolt in there. There's not a whole lot of room to work with. Wrench. Might be a little hard to tighten. Pull up on it a little bit. Once your preload is set, I remember it was about half, and I get a little more because I know the spring's a little shorter. Let's go ahead and put the airbox back in. So it's pretty straightforward getting it back in. Just you gotta kind of finagle it. This is the kind of the point where like it likes to get hung up. Just get it in there and start getting your hoses in there. Let's get this clamp in there. Probably have to use the pliers to get that in there. these. Never likes to go back in. Yeah, this is going to take two-hand manipulation a little bit. Alright, once you got the little hose in, let's get this big hose in here. That goes from the carb. Kind of get it in there. It should kind of go in by itself. There you go. You don't have to go all the way in quite yet. And start putting the bolts back in for the. So well, the hardest part of this install was getting the airbox back in. I mean, getting the bike back together. So this is the hardest one. You probably want to start with that one first. The reason I couldn't get it in very well is because you have to get this boot in properly, and that's not easy either. So I would start on the hardest part, like kind of like shove it in there, and then use a screwdriver to push it in. That's how I got it in there. So it's in there now. Looks like mine used to have a snorkel at one time. I think I took it off. And next, you probably want to put the battery back. However way it was in there. Alright, once you get your battery reinstalled, go ahead and install the rear fender. Okay. Just snug it up with the wrench real quick to make sure it's tight. Should be good. Okay. Go ahead and slide the muffler back in. Let's kind of just rotate it to where it was before. These ones, I don't know, since they're on the muffler, some of these bigger bolts, you might want to put some, well, I don't have anti-seize. Oh, great. I guess not. I don't have any anti-seize with me. Go. Put this one back in. It's not wanting to line up too well. Snug is good. Okay. And you're going to want to install your seat. So make sure this has got a little pocket in here. Slide that into that little tang there sticking out. This tang right here. Okay. Let's pull up on it, make sure it doesn't come out. And go get your bolts. Just go ahead and tighten those. Pretty much done. Alright, and you just get your 12 mil, I think. That's a 10. Get your 10 and your 12. Okay, get your 10 and your 12. Just tighten it. It's hard to do with one hand. It's better. I prefer you use two hands. and then just do the same for the other side. Home stretch. Let's install your side covers. So remember, there's a pin here somewhere. Where is it? Right here. So make sure this rear pin connects, so it doesn't start flapping around. Right down there. Let's make sure your bike doesn't fall off of the stand too, like mine is. Doesn't want to quite go in. Yeah, no way. Anyway, and then just go ahead and put the bolts back in. Okay, and then just put the other cover back on. But there you go. And then that's it, we're done. Not too hard really. The only thing that was needed to be critically torqued were the shock absorber bolts, but I can get to that later when I get my torque wrench. All done. So there you go. Shock installed. Take it for a ride. That's HadesOmega's rear spring install with the BBR Motorsports heavy duty spring on the Kawasaki KLX140. Completo. HadesOmega.